Hey, Shalom. First off, I want to give all honor, all glory, and all praise to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone GMS and Ruel. Peace and salutations to the elect, beginning with the 144,000, and to all the Akim and Akwaf tuning in. May this lesson be edifying. This is the brother Halal from the Great Millstone Chicago camp. And this lesson is going to be about how ultimately, when it comes to the ways of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, our laws, the scriptures tell us that the father, determines the race of the child, man. Because in Western civilization, particularly here in America, one false claim that people will make is that if you have a person that may have an Israelite father or an Edomite mother, that there's quote unquote a mixed, child. That they're a half and half. And according to the scriptures, that's not true. According to the ways of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, the nation and the race of a child is determined by the father, man. And this Jake that you're gonna see in this video, clearly he doesn't understand that breakdown. So I'm gonna let this video play, and may this lesson be edifying, to all the Akim tuning in and watching.
Michael Jackson, the biggest black entertainer ever. Look at his kids. They don't look black. His fortune has been passed down outside the black community, and by the time his grandkids come, they're basically white. Then there's Drake, who's mixed himself. His only son is with a white woman. So if Drake's son decides to marry a white woman, his grandkids won't look black at all. And that's his billionaire legacy gone from black hands in just one generation. Serena Williams married a white billionaire and her daughter is mixed. If she marries white, Serena's grandkids won't even look like Serena. That's one of the greatest black athletes of all time, and her line just vanishes out of blackness. Quincy Jones, a musical legend, married white women over and over. His daughter Rashida Jones is very talented, but culturally she's not tied to the black community like he was. Jamie Foxx, his daughter came from a white woman. If she marries white, Jamie's grandkids are just rich white kids with Fox's money. Andrew Tate, this one is important. His dad was black. Emery Tate, a chess champion and a proud man. Now Andrew's mom is white. And Andrew himself, all his kids are with white women. This means that his kids are with white.
So, he brought up, multiple different celebrities like Andrew Tate, Drake, which both of them, they're Israelites because both of their fathers, they're Israelites, man. The father determines the nation of a child. But clearly he doesn't understand that because he says that the more that, Jake men, have intercourse with heathen women, that their children will eventually become Edomites. And that's a false statement right there. That's not true. But in the case of, as you can see here, Serena Williams with her Edomite husband, or Edomite looking husband, he could be an Israelite, based off his spirit, because ultimately the spirit determines who we are, Romans 8:16. But if this man who Serena Williams married, if he's an Edomite, her daughter is an Edomite as well because she came from her father's lineage, man, which means that she is an Edomite. She's not a mixed child. But in the case of Drake, this right here at the top of the screen, that's his grandfather. And at the bottom, that's his son. His son is an Israelite, man, because it all goes back to the father. The father is the determining factor of the child's race and nation, man. So let's go to the scriptures. And let's go to the book of Genesis 35:11. And matter of fact, I start at verse 9. It says, "And the Most High appeared unto Jacob again when he came out of Padan Aram and blessed him. And the Most High said unto him, Thy name is Jacob, thy name shall not be called any more Jacob, but Israel shall be thy name. And he called his name Israel." So, his name was changed from Yaquab to Yasha'Allah, which means he, Prince Power, or Prince of the Power. But verse 11 is the point, and it says, "And the Most High said unto him, I am the Most High Almighty, be fruitful and multiply, A nation and a company of nations shall be of thee, and kings shall come out of thy loins. And let's go into this word loins. It says the Hebrew word chalai. It means loins as a seat of virility. And when you look up the word virility, it says, here's the definition. It says, the quality of having strength, energy, and a strong sex drive or manliness. So that's what loins is, man. And when you pull up the word loins, I'll skip straight to the point. It says the region of the sexual organs, especially when regarded as the source of erotic or procreative power, aka a man's sexual organs, man. You know, where children are shot out of, man, where the sperm comes out of. That ultimately determines, the father determines the race of the child, man. You know, there's no such thing as a half Israelite, half Edomite, or, you know, half Hamite, half Ishmaelite baby. There's no such thing as a mixed person. Whatever your father is, that's what you are, man. You came out of his loins, man. You know, and the Lord understood this concept. That's why he told that to Jacob. He said, what? Kings shall come out of thy loins. He didn't say kings would come out of the woman that you slept with. You know, although the women do incubate the child for 9 months, the child is shot out of the man's rod, man. You know, into that woman. And then it's nurtured for 9 months until it eventually is conceived, you know. From there, let's get let's get the book of Exodus, chapter 1 and 1. It says, now these are the names of the children of Israel, which came into Egypt. Every man in his household came with Jacob: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan and Naphtali, Gad and Asher. You know, so these were all the tribes, you know, of Israel that came into Egypt. It says, and all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob, you know, what we just read earlier, was 70 souls, for Joseph was in Egypt already. So once again, these scriptures say what? They came out of the loins of Jacob, you know. And another point, the 12 tribes of Israel, you know, the women that they were born into this world from, whose vagina they came out of, those women weren't even Israelites, man. You know, you can read and study up on this, man. You know, so but why are they still called Israelites? Why? Because they came from the loins of Jacob, man. They came from the loins of Yasha'Allah, which means that they're Israelites as well. Let's go to the book of Numbers, chapter 1 and 1. It says, and the Lord spake unto Moses in the wilderness of Sinai, in the tabernacle of the congregation, on the first day of the 2nd month in the 2nd year, after they were come out of the land of Egypt, saying, take ye the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel after their families, by the house of their fathers, with the number of their names, every male by their poles. So they took, you know, a portion of men from the congregation of Israel, and they numbered them by the houses of their fathers, man. So back then, our people understood that the father determines what nation you will be. You know, if your father is a Judite, you are a Judite. If your father comes from the tribe of Naphtali, that's what tribe you come from. You know, so if your, you know, Israelite mother got with your pale Edomite father, and you come out dark-skinned with curly hair looking like your mother, you are still an Edomite, man, because you go back to the father's lineage. It says, take ye all the sum of the congregation of the children of Israel after their families by the house of their fathers, with the number of their names, every male by their poles. You know, so they were numbering the congregation of Israel by the house of their fathers, man. You know, let's get the book of Ezra. I believe, 4 and 59. I forgot what exact verse it was. Salakia, bear with me. Oh yeah, Ezra 2 and 59. This is Ezra chapter 2 and all the way down at verse 59 it reads, and these were they which went up from Tel-Malah, Tel-Harsa, and Cherub, Adon, and Immer, but they cannot shew their father's house and their seed, whether they were of Israel, man. So it was all according to the father's seed, man. They determined whether or not they were Israelites, man. And if so since they couldn't determine, the lineage of their fathers, who they came from, they couldn't determine whether or not they were of Israel, man. So there's no such thing as a mixed person. The race is determined by the father. Whatever your father is, that's what you are, man. So I'm going to end it off with the book of Revelation 22 and verse 16. And this is Yahweh Shai speaking. Who this world ignorantly calls, JC. This is the book of Revelation chapter 22 and verse 16. I, Yahweh Shai, have sent mine angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David and the bright and morning star. So Yahweh Shai understood this as well. He didn't say I am the root and offspring of David, in a woman, man. I mean, Salakia. Yahweh Shai came from his father Joseph, and Mary. But still, man, the woman was never mentioned. Yahweh Shai said, I am the root and offspring of David. So there's no such thing as a mixed person. Although, this Jake has some zeal, like the scriptures say, Israel have a zeal, but not according to knowledge, man. So I hope this lesson was edifying. And with that, I want to give all honor, all glory, and all praise to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the great Musonji and Messer Ruel Shalom, Kwam Yasha'Allah, and Wa Abba Babal.